Well, once the nation's most famous ocean liner built in Newport News, but now a forgotten ghost ship could get new life in Norfolk as a massive hotel and tourist attraction. It could bring thousands of jobs and millions in tax revenue. Investigator Mike Mather got a rare tour inside the SS United States to show what the ship looks like now and what it could turn into here. It's a story you'll see only on News Channel 3.
30,000 persons attend the christening ceremony. See the wife of Senator Tom Connolly do the honors, launching the 51,000-ton vessel, the longest liner in the world, 990 feet.
This was the first christening ever televised, and it happened in Newport News. 3,000 local shipworkers labored 2 years building the biggest, the fastest, the most luxurious ocean liner ever to sail from North America. Her engines and propellers were developed as Cold War weapons. She was a luxury liner, but in one sense, that was a disguise. She was built for speed. If the Soviets grew restless, she could race troops across the ocean at more than 44 miles an hour. And on her record-breaking maiden voyage in 1952, no one suspected she would be the last of her kind. And after serving just 17 years, she was abandoned. She rusted in Norfolk for decades, and now she bobs idle in Philadelphia. The nation's flagship is junked.
This is living history. Once this ship is gone, it'll never be replaced. This is the last of the American ocean liners. It was built right there in Newport News, Virginia. We cannot lose this ship.
Deep inside the once secret engine rooms where neither sunlight nor electricity penetrates, gauges are frozen in time. Many are missing. An outdated CPR poster has sat here untouched 40 years. The rest of the once mighty United States has been gutted, the valuables sold at auction.
The first time I saw it, I was devastated.
Rosalind McPherson was a young girl when her family sailed the United States to Europe. Decades later, she stumbled upon the ship again.
When I first moved to Philadelphia 12 years ago, I was riding to the airport and looked up and saw the ship out here, and it broke my heart to see the condition it was in, knowing how beautiful a vessel it had been when I traveled it.
Now she is part of a charity trying to reinvent and redevelop the United States, to dock her in a waterfront city, to remake her as apartments for young professionals, ballrooms for holiday parties, retail stores, restaurants, office space, and a museum. So where would she go, this ocean liner that was once the pride of local shipbuilders? Well, how about right back here to Hampton Roads and the rivers where she first floated?
The three areas really that have expressed an interest in this are Miami, New York, and Greater Philadelphia. However, we recently heard from a group that's very preliminarily interested in looking at the ship in Norfolk.
That's right. The United States could come back to Hampton Roads. She would be the largest commercial structure in the region, 500,000 square feet for just about any use. It's Dan McSweeney's job to convince investors.
We already have the bare bones. All we have to do is augment them. So that's not an impossible task at all.
This charity is probably the last chance for the nation's flagship. Every year she sits here, she crumbles. Flaking paint flutters on the promenade's walkway. The decks where passengers once played games are peeling. The ballroom with its circular dance floor is empty and dusty. The bridge is bare, save for a single original table. The kitchens and the bars are all vacant and neglected. The first-class staterooms are just now outlines on the main deck. But to Susan Gibbs, the granddaughter of the architect, this ship is solid and ready for a rebirth.
Yes, the paint is peeling, but her hull strength is still 92% of original.
It will cost $25 million just to restore her decks and metal skin. So on the 60th anniversary of her record-breaking voyage, the charity is launching a massive fundraising effort called Save the United States. They're wooing the deep pockets of philanthropists and the dollar-a-pop donors through Facebook. The Mariners Museum in Newport News, home to many of her artifacts, has unfurled for the first time in 60 years the massive pennant called the Blue Ribbon. It's the prize awarded to the Atlantic's fastest ship, and it still belongs to the United States. And we listened as Virginia Symphony musicians rehearsed a piece written just for the ship. The composition was later played in Newport News, birthplace of the United States. There is some precedence for a project like this. The Queen Mary, once a luxury liner, is now a hotel in Long Beach, California. McSweeney, the man charged with cultivating the businesses, says the United States, docked maybe in Norfolk, could do just as well.
It's a patriotic effort, but it's also one that's very practical because we can create several thousand jobs, we can help generate tax revenue, and we can help redevelop a waterfront district.
If this doesn't work, the United States will probably head to a scrapper. A faith that charity is doing everything to avoid.
We have to do our part to make sure that people understand that this is something you can't just get rid of. You can't just scrap this ship. It's tantamount to scrapping the spirit of St. Louis.
Reporting from Philadelphia, Mike Mather, News Channel 3.